Hi boys and girls, this is chapter 12, lesson 4 for math. Today we're going to talk about three-dimensional shapes or 3D shapes. So last week we talked about 2D shapes, which would be a shape that's flat on the paper. 3D or three-dimensional shapes have length, width, and height. That's the three. They are made up of 3 different measurements. So today I'm going to show you 6 different shapes that are 3D shapes, so 3-dimensional. There's 3 ways we can measure them, okay? So the 3 ways that we can measure them are the length, the width, how wide it is, and the height, how high it is. So how long, or the length, the width, or how wide, and the height, how high something is, okay? So I'm going to show you some samples. You might have seen the first one. The first one is a sphere. If you'd like to follow along with the shapes that I'm doing, I am in your textbook on page 760, and I'm going to do the 6 shapes on page 760. So the first one is a sphere, okay? Sometimes we call it a ball. A sphere, 3-dimensional. There is a length, a width, how deep it goes, and how high it goes, a height. Length, width, height. This is called a sphere or a ball. Next one is a cube. Cube. So you will see when I hold it in my hand, it's not a flat shape. That is what makes it the 3-dimensional. So dimensions is that it sticks up also, not flat on the paper. So this is made up of different squares. This is called a cube. A cube. So this is one of Genevieve's blocks or cubes that she plays with. And this has a length. We can measure how, I'll do it this way, how long something is, the width, so how wide it goes back, or how tall it is, the height, making it another 3D shape. So far we have a sphere and a cube. And next we have a pyramid. So this one I needed to make out of paper because I didn't have any pyramids here at my house. So this is a pyramid. A pyramid has a flat bottom and then made up of 4 sides that are a triangle shape coming to a point at the top. So here is my pyramid. It is a 3D shape because it's sticking up off my hand. Okay, it is made up of 1 square and 4 triangles. My next shape is a cone. Okay, like an ice cream cone. The cone comes to the point at the top, has a flat bottom. This is a cone, 3-dimensional shape. I could measure the length, the width, and the height of this object. So let's review. We have a sphere, we have a cube, we have a pyramid, and we have a cone. Our next shape is a cylinder, like a can of soup. So a cylinder has the rounded edges, but then the top and the bottom are flat, made up of a circle shape. Okay, so it's 2 circles with then the rounded sides. A cylinder. Cylinder, 3-dimensional shape. And the last one that I have is called a rectangular prism. A rectangular prism. So different than a cube because a cube is made up of squares Okay, this has 6 different squares making it up. This is a rectangular prism because remember we have that rectangle shape, 2 longer lines, 2 shorter sides, but it is 3-dimensional. We have the length, the width, how wide it is, and then how tall it is, and the height, making it the 3D shape, 3-dimensional. So in your book on page 760, there is a great diagram for you to use. It has a box with all of the different shapes and their name. So in today's lesson, you are going to see different shapes listed on the page, and you have to tell me what shape it is and circle other shapes that are the same. Okay, for example, number 1, I'll give you a clue, is a rectangular prism. You can see that it has 2 longer sides and 2 shorter sides, but then it is also tall, so it's not just a rectangle, it's a rectangular prism. So you would write that on the line. Now it does say it right above it, so you should be able to copy the spelling. Then it says circle the objects that are the same. So they give you 3 different objects. Here's our rectangular prism. You'll write that on the line. And then we have 3 objects here, just like I used. I just used objects from my house. So we have a tissue box. So that should be a good clue because that's the same example I used for a rectangular prism. So you would circle the tissue box. The next picture is shaving cream. Okay, shaving cream comes in the same shaped can as a soup can, which is a cylinder. So that's not a rectangular prism. And the third object here is a box of cereal. So yes, that is a rectangular prism. If you have any of those objects at home, you can check them out and see how they are 3-dimensional. Okay, they're not flat against the paper. When we hold a real rectangular prism, it would stick up off our hand. Okay, of course on the paper, we're looking at flat objects, but these are great examples, the tissue box and the cereal box, of a rectangular prism. The next example here, okay, and hopefully you remember from my samples, or you can take a look up here at the picture, is a cone. It is sitting flat at the bottom. It has the rounded side and a point at the top. That is a cone. So you would write cone here on the line. And then here are some examples. And this first example is like my example, an ice cream cone. So circle the ice cream cone because that's the same as this shape. The second one looks like a box that you would have something delivered in, not a cone. That might be a rectangular prism. And the third one is a party hat. So definitely, yes, definitely a cone. All right. So you are going to continue doing that up to number 7 on this page, telling me what shape it is, writing that on the line, and then circling the other samples. Then on the back, this is one of my favorite pages, it is going to describe one of the shapes, and you have to tell me which shape it is describing, okay? Before I stop for lesson 4, and you can go ahead and work in your book, I wanted to show you how numbers 3, 4, 5, and 6 are drawn, and 7, sorry, are drawn. They are using those dotted lines to show that it is not just a circle here on the page, that this is actually representing this shape, that there is more to it. It sticks up off my hand. So that dotted line is to show the back of the shape. Okay, the next example, the dotted line is to show the back example of the shape. Same with number 5, 6, and 7. Okay, so good luck with this. Remember, the great chart on page 760 is going to help you with our shapes. One more reminder, a 3-dimensional shape is a shape with length, width, and height. So 3 different ways that we can measure it. All right, good luck, and we'll see you back for the next lesson.